Cash Daddies, Cash Daddies, Cash Daddies, Cash Daddies,
Cash Daddies is for entertainment purposes only. You'd be an idiot to listen to anything these degenerates say. Invest at your own risk, do research, but seriously don't listen to these ass clowns. Now enjoy Cash Daddies.
All right. Yes. Welcome to the Wise Wolf Golden Silver. Oh, excuse me. Welcome to the Copy My Crypto adjacent studios. That's right. Copy My Crypto, guys. Check out Copy My Crypto. Go to copymycrypto.com/Sam and get in on the action when we thank them for sponsoring this show. Yes. Yes. Guys, how are you?
Good, buddy. Just watching the world end from the comfort of my chair here in the office.
Johnny, your studio game has gotten strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just fake plants around that same old
That's all right. Your fake plants are fire, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That's very thoughtful.
You got fire fake plants, dude. How
I
are you?
I am known for my fake plants, I must say.
Your fire fakes plants?
Yeah. Like back home, you wouldn't know that here, obviously, because you didn't know me growing up.
Guys, real quick, I want to remind you that Howie is not backing Kamala. I just want to remind you guys of that. He is not backing Kamala. There we go.
Why would I?
Howie, hi. How are you?
What is this? What is that? I don't know what that is.
Well,
Elon Musk backed her more than me.
Howie is really mad right now. Really mad.
I'm not. We're
only
hanging
kidding.
in there, man. I mean,
We are.
Look, we've gotten crushed. Market's getting crushed right now. We're down today, getting another ass beaten. But Dell, Nvidia, and Amazon, all three of those are up. So, I would say compared to the rest of the country, man, we're gonna do all right with that on the Patreon, baby.
Yeah, tonight is the NCAA championships. You can check out Howie's page for that.
Yeah, Howie picked Houston January 12th at plus 900 to win the whole thing. So
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm invested.
I like it. You just go to youtube.com/Howie.
Just glad it's not Duke, baby. Just glad it's not Duke. Because Howie, it's funny. I saw a headline the other day that was like, the bookies would be doing great this year if they could just get Duke out. That was last week, and I was like, oh, Duke's going to lose now. Watch this, dude.
It was a hell of a comeback. I was pumped up. I was excited. And I think Houston takes care of business tonight.
I hope so.
Not worried about it. I think Florida's going down.
Kelvin Sampson's from my hometown. Like
I like that.
Hometown.
I like that point guard for
Cryer.
Yeah, boy, that hairline's weird though, right? That's a weird hair. Have you noticed?
For Florida?
Oh no,
that's Walter Clayton Jr. He's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's good.
I like that kid. I like that kid a lot. All right, guys. So let's get into the week that was. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
we're gonna go over a lot of stuff today because it's the wildest week that I've seen, that I've been a part of since 2008. 2020, yeah, maybe. This is just maybe wilder. But since I've been investing, this is the third one, maybe fourth. You could say 2001, World Trade Center, that whole situation in the 2 months of foul, 2008, bank crisis, 2020, the whole COVID thing. But this is the first time we got a self-inflicted one, man. We got a dude that just went buck wild, made some decisions, and now all hell is breaking loose in Washington. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, we talked about this tariff situation a month ago. We were talking Smoot Hawley here a month ago, Johnny.
Yes.
A month ago, before anyone ever knew what the hell Smoot Hawley was, we were talking about this a month ago. Maybe longer than that. So you're hearing more of it. Most people have no clue to what tariffs really are, but
well, it's funny. Have you noticed, Howie? I don't know how much you're on social, but there's been this nice little dance that people have pivoted, especially the hardcore Trump supporters, from this idea that, hey, this is gonna be great for the economy. He's gonna be reshoring jobs, to this idea that he just had to burn it all down to build it back up, baby. We gotta just clear the playing field, swipe the chips off the board. Which I just think
that's your like 75 IQs, like trying to reach
brains, they call them,
85. Yeah, that's just beyond retarded. I mean,
well, Sam, I saw Sam, you tweeted that, like, hey, don't shed any tears because these are just the companies that took the jobs overseas, right?
That's my opinion.
But it's not just those companies; it's all the companies that are the market.
Because it kicks it off.
That's a small percentage.
Everybody's getting hurt by it. It's not just those companies that
I think it's wild. I think it's wild, and shit is real when Elon Musk, who you heard me shitting on him for months, I'm going to say something right now.
Say it.
I'm going to say it. I'm backing that mutant from something because he had the balls. He had the balls to go after Peter Navarro, and I mean throat choke him and say, pal, you don't know your dick from your ass. You've never – and he said this. He said, you've never built anything in your life. You don't know.
What did he say? Like a Harvard guy? Well, he quoted what was it? What's his name? That economist that everybody likes. But that like a Harvard man has been at the center of every economic collapse or whatever for like 100 years.
Dude, Elon Musk came right out. And I don't know if it was his autism just, on a scale of 9 to 10, hit 9.5. But that autistic fellow came out and literally ripped Navarro a new ass on. Navarro turned around and said, and this Navarro, all he is just a counselor to Trump. And he's been on TV, getting interviewed left and right, and right-wing Trumpers, guys that voted for Trump, like Joe Kiernan, ripped him a new ass today and said, dude, we knew these tariffs were coming, but when you do the math on them, they're not even close. They're actually percentage-wise worse than the 1930s. So, and Kiernan went after him today. And you got to remember, Kiernan's the guy, the biggest Trump supporter I've ever seen. So Navarro turned around and called Elon Musk. He goes, yeah, you know what? You can't talk. You're just a car assembler. That's what he called him. He called Musk a car assembler. So, I mean, shots fired in D.C. They
finally hit Elon where it hurts, huh? Like, finally he's had to say something.
Elon Musk is in a world of shit right now with Tesla because he's getting it from both sides. He's getting with the U.S. tariffs. He's getting it with the Chinese tariffs. He's getting just crushed. So he basically
and Howie, am I wrong? I mean, they were as what would you say, forward leaning as any company about trying to keep stuff in America and bring things home, like keeping it limited, what they did in China, just the things that would bring
was his whole thing.
Yeah.
But he is just, he's shitting his pants now. Because the one thing all these economists and everybody, I don't care where you are, and all Republicans, what they agree on is these higher tariffs. This is raising inflation. It's going to raise inflation.
Johnny, when he frees up, just try to guess what he's going to say.
I think it's you, Sam, because he didn't freeze for me. It might be you.
Really? Okay.
Because you were just kind of mumbling the whole time he was talking, I heard.
Yeah. So, they all agree these tariffs are going to cause inflation. Companies that have no idea how to, like next week earnings come out, and these companies are going to have no idea how to talk about forward guidance because, they still have no idea. They don't know, is he going to keep these tariffs? Is he going to get rid of them? Is he going to negotiate? And, I don't know how much you're going to negotiate with countries like Japan, China, even Europe.
Well, he claimed that all the biggest companies have been on the phone. He already negotiated with Cambodia or Vietnam or something. I don't know.
Fuck, I love that one. Vietnam's coming to the table. Yeah. Their GDP last year was about as much as the 3 bodegas.
My neighborhood.
Yeah. Vietnam. And Howard Lutnick is this guy is just a complete buffoon. Everybody thinks he's a moron. And if you go on what is it? The Poly Network? What is it?
Polymarket.
Yeah, the over under on him getting fired is probably 3 to 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the shit that he's been saying. Oh my God. Yeah, Lutnick is just a clown. And then you heard what to get into this, did you hear what Bill Ackman said about Howard Lutnick?
No. What did he say?
Bill Ackman, he's a conservative guy, voted for Trump. He came out today, totally anti-tariff, said you got to sit down, you got to negotiate this stuff. You're going to put us into a full-blown recession. And he came out and said Howard Lutnick is just all over these tariffs because he comes from Cantor Fitzgerald, which is all bonds, not stocks. And he would love the market to tank so that money goes into Cantor Fitzgerald and they can pay him under the table.
That's so interesting, dude. That's really interesting.
You got so many fights going on right now in the economic world in Washington, D.C. It's crazy.
Don't you get, though? I get why people doubt what they're saying, because these people have lied to preserve their own interests since the beginning of time, really. I mean, you mentioned that this one was kind of self-induced, but really, I mean, it depends on who the self is there, because you can't, like the Big Short collapse was definitely self-induced if the self is the financial system. I mean, they did it to themselves by being reckless and retarded.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, even the .com bubble was just people getting out over their skis, not being careful, just grabbing the money.
The .com bubble, those were companies that weren't making a penny.
Right, but the investment, it was silly money going around, and people knew probably they weren't going to see it back at some point. It was just like musical chairs, when are we going to get hit by this thing? But so I get why people. And then Howie, are you the one who sent us that TikTok that Trump retruths? You were, right? Yeah, it was.
That was wild.
Yeah, dude, suggesting what I said earlier, that he is like. And then let me see if I can find that real quick, because if that, there's no way that's true, right? I think it's what I said earlier, like him
Warren Buffett came out and said, I have absolutely nothing to do with this administration.
Well, I don't even mean the Buffett thing. I just mean him talking about he's purpose, do it. You got me saying purposefully, Sam.
Yes, it's a word. Shut up.
It is a word. Yeah, it's just not quite that. I mean, it worked. People know what you mean. But hold on, my shit's frozen.
So, I want to say this. I want everyone
on our side.
Yeah,
I want everyone to be clear. This is important. This is probably the most important thing I'll say. Listen, I agree wholeheartedly with the premise that we have to do something about China sticking it to us. I mean, we have to do something. Now, 100% tariffs and ruining the world economy and putting millions of Americans out of jobs, that's not the way to do it. And I think
maybe not that, maybe something else.
Yeah, listen, sit down, send some of the best economic people in this country, send them over, sit down and negotiate before you ever mention the word tariff. That's the way it should have been done. And that's what everybody, all these CEOs across the country are saying. Now forget about the stock market. Let's fuck the stock market. Who gives a shit about that? The most important thing, I think, is keeping people at work. You don't want to see millions of people losing their jobs. You just don't want to see that.
Yes.
And that's what happens in a steep recession. That's what's going to happen. Interest rates are going to go up. Food prices are going to go up. Everything's going to go up. And then companies, probably starting in the next month, if they don't figure this out quickly, they're going to start slashing jobs in every sector across the board. That's going to happen. That's what a recession is. We don't want to see that. Just don't want to see it, man. I'm talking to Patreon guys, and I'm talking it's across the board. Logistics, trucking. Trucking's going to come to a halt because you're not moving anything from point A to point B if companies stop producing shit. So they got to figure this out quickly, sooner than later.
All right, hold on. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
I sent Sam this video. This video.
Hold on.
Oh,
just hold on. Don't talk about something I haven't shown yet, please.
Well, you're the one who started talking, saying, "Hold on, I'm about to play it." And then
Johnny,
don't bring it up.
Zip your pie hole.
Yeah, Howie. It's
here we go, Johnny. You can shut up now.
Okay, so this was sent out by Donald. Someone else made it, obviously, but
Trump is crashing the stock market by 20% this month, but he's doing it on purpose. And this is why Warren Buffett just said Trump is making the best economic moves he's seen in over 50 years. Now, here's the secret game he's playing, and it could make you rich. So why is he doing this? To push cash into treasuries, which forces the Fed to slash interest rates in May, and those lower rates give the Fed the ability to refinance trillions of debt very inexpensively. It also weakens the dollar and drops mortgage rates. Now, it's a wild chess move, but it's working. Now, you're probably wondering, what about his tariffs? Well, I'll tell you, it's a genius play. It actually forces companies to build here to dodge them. It also forces farmers to sell more of their products here in the US to bring grocery prices way down. We've already seen this with eggs. Now, remember, 94% of all stocks are owned only by 8% of Americans. So Trump, he's taking from the rich short term and handing it to the middle class through lower prices.
It's such a fundamental misunderstanding. That's not how it works.
I like it.
They're going to sideline their money. They're going to keep their money, and then people are just going to lose. The rich people can afford to wait this out, dude. The rich people will be waiting it out while people are just in the breadlines.
What's really scary about that video is that anyone that would look at that and be like, wow, man, that's a good point.
Wow.
That's something a 10 or 11-year-old could probably figure out in 2 minutes. I mean, dude, I like that one. Farmers are fucked. Farmers are
They hate it. Yeah, dude. They don't want that. That sounds terrible to them. Them having to
ask a farmer about that one. Farmers, look. If they don't figure out this fucking tariff shit soon, farmers are going to have nobody to sell their shit to. And then the government's going to be bailing farmers out in 3 years, along with paying enormous amounts of unemployment. And then we're all fucked.
What do you think about that? They just...
I like the way he said, Warren Buffett said it's genius.
That's a fantasy quote. Just made that up.
Why'd you have me play it then?
No,
to show you how ridiculous it is.
Because Trump retweeted it, dude. He tweeted it out. That's why.
He retweeted that, Sam, and Warren Buffett came out right after it, and he said, there is nothing that he's doing that I would say is a good idea.
Hello, Project Cheney. Hello.
That's why, that's kind of why Warren Buffett's in 40% cash right now.
It's so crazy to me that the notion is that, and I'm not saying you guys are wrong because I'm a retard. I make no illusions of that. But what I do find very interesting to me is that this notion that if there's an attempt to bring at least some jobs back, that this will cause more unemployment. And there's already unemployment by moving all the jobs out of the country.
Sam, I just keep talking, man. I love your philosophies on this.
I'm just telling you. I mean, like, the whole notion is this, Howie. And I know, obviously, I'm not as knowledgeable as you on the stock market and stuff like that. But I was born in the 70s.
Yeah.
I remember before NAFTA, and you know what I remember? Everybody having money. Everybody, dads were able to take care of their family on a one fucking income family. One income job. Everybody had a car. Everyone had a house. The kids went to college. That's all I know. At the end of the day, and on a street level, that's all what everybody cares about.
Yeah, but the jobs that are coming back aren't the kinds of jobs because of inflation that can provide that same lifestyle. These aren't the same jobs we lost.
Sam, there's a little thing that's happened since the 70s. It's called technology. And manufacturing jobs that were really big in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they're not coming back because guess what? Robots are doing them now. And that's why Lutnick is getting totally abused because Lutnick said, we're going to bring all the iPhones. He said this. He said, we're going to bring all the iPhones back to the United States and we're going to put 1 billion screws in them. And we're going to have robots doing it. And literally, that video blew my mind because whoever interviewed him said, robots are going to do it. So what about people working in factories, about manufacturing?
White collar, it's not blue collar work anymore. None of that shit's blue collar work anymore.
No, there is no
I
more.
actually think AI is going to destroy white collar jobs.
Yeah, it's coming for everything. You're absolutely right.
Eventually, I think you're right.
Well, I think you're going to see a gig society. I think you're going to see people going on their own, becoming electricians, plumbers, building stuff. That's where I think it's going.
That's an area that is lacking huge right now. You know, electricians.
The big
plumbers.
problem is we're raising children that don't want to work jobs. And
Yes.
I don't blame the kids. I blame the parents who are forcing their kids to take jobs. My father, when I was probably 14 or 15 years old, looked me right in the eye and goes, "Do you know what your 16th birthday gift is going to be?" I go, "No, what is it going to be? A car?" He goes, "A job. You're fucking getting a job day one."
Me too.
Day one. My friend in Vegas says he can't hire anybody because nobody wants to be a lifeguard. Where you just sit there.
That used to be the best. You wanted that.
It was the best job he ever had when he was a kid. He'd just get to stare at chicks in bikinis and occasionally save a fat person, you know? And
dude, my buddies that worked at Yemen Park in the summer, they got more ass than anybody in town.
Yeah.
That was a great one. That was a great dude. Do you know that Target now has a machine that uses AI? Apparently, I hope this is real because I saw it the other day. That will do your nails. Like, so even the Koreans who make money off of pedicures and stuff, they're coming for that already. There's a machine. It just like scans your fingers. Let me make sure that's real first, but I'm pretty sure it is. Let me see.
But yeah, Lutnick came out the other day. He was talking about that. He goes, everybody's going to want to come to America. First of all, now with everything going on, and this is what all the economists, like, nobody wants to come to America with this shit right now. Nobody's going to be begging to come here and do what? You can't set up factories. It takes years. It's just all fake shit. It blows my mind.
Well, and then the other thing is, and this concerns me because I kind of fell into this. Rand Paul last week introduced that bill in the Senate to roll back the trade war, the emergency powers that Trump was granted with Canada. You know, he mentioned that tariffs are taxes, you know, and they've always been seen as taxes, especially going back to the founding days. And it's never been the case in this country where we have separation of powers that the president could tax. That, you know, that was the reason we had a revolution, because the monarch was you know, enforcing these tariffs. And we seem to have forgotten that, a lot of us who would have been inclined to, and I'm throwing myself in there too, who would have been inclined to not agree with that, especially if the other side was trying to do it. So I'm concerned about that too, because if it had me kind of thinking like, hey, maybe this is a good thing, then why how many other people has it gotten? You know, because these are taxes. They shouldn't. They should not be an emergency powers is the thing that presidents have used to just hoard power. You know, going back decades and more.
If you want to get really deep into the discussion, we have a wonderful Cash Daddies Patreon. Constantly keeps going up. Cash Daddies Patreon, patreon.com/Cash Daddies, $20 a month. Howie puts up multiple videos a day, and Johnny and I will watch you make love.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. It really is.
It's a real blessing for you. Yeah. For us to watch you make love.
Yeah. You're lucky.
Yes.
Personalized sex. Look at this. Live Q&As, bonus content. I mean, you're just living the best life. That's all I got to say. So go to patreon.com/Cash Daddies.
Yeah. So, it's been a volatile week, and you can see people are tense. People are on edge because, look, these guys are all fighting each other in the White House right now. You know, you got this going on. You got us threatening Iran every day, and it's like, dude, we don't need that. Not right now. So, you know, it's going to see what works out with these. You know, you got supply chain problems, still got problems with Canada, you got inventory problems. You know, right now, Johnny, you can bet on Polymarket, because right now the percentage of a recession went from 35% up to like 62% over the past 2 weeks on Polymarket.
Wow.
So, you know, and you got Navarro, which I don't, like I say, I'll back Musk on this. I don't blame Musk for getting pissed. Navarro came out yesterday and said, there's no chance we're going to a recession. Lutnick said, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. We're the furthest thing from a recession. And then you ask everybody, that these CEOs, And they're like, no, man, we're probably going into a recession. So who do you believe? You know, I don't know. What do you think, Johnny?
I mean, God, that. I mean, wouldn't you love to just be sitting in, like, have cashed in all your chips like Warren Buffett did right now, and just be sitting there with cash? Like, this guy's just he's just done it again. He does it over and over again. He's sitting there and he's gonna get the biggest discount on some of the best stocks that we have again, and we all could have done it. Wish I had, I sold a few things, but not anything to do with. I wish I had read that tea leaf, been like, okay, maybe do what the smartest trader in the history of fucking the stock market is doing.
He is next.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna, whenever he dives back in, he's gonna get such a discount on all these stocks.
No, Warren Buffett, man, he's been doing it for so many years. And he's kicked the shit out of all these guys. He's just a smart guy. And, you talk to his people. He pulled a lot of his stocks and went into cash when Trump got elected because, he doesn't have any faith in this administration.
Well, I bet he knew about this. I bet he knew that they were going to do this whole thing and probably gamed it out. Somebody was like, listen, hey, buddy, they're getting ready to
put tariffs in. There's no doubt.
The economy. Yeah.
It just amazes me that, look, if you study your history, if you go back and study the Smoot-Hawley situation, don't make the same mistake twice. Come on. I mean, there's other ways you can do this. And people are, calling this, and it's the thing that's crazy. It's, you look at all the Republicans, guys like Peter Schiff, Ackman, Siegel from Penn, Musk, the Nigerian brothers came out today. Joe Kieran, these guys are all anti-tariff. None of these guys are like, yeah, tariffs work. They're all, because they don't work. They're like you said, they're taxes. And we said that a month ago on here. Yeah.
Well, and it's more of a, it's not the fact that in practice they are taxes, they end up being paid by average people that bothers me. It's more that the principle of the thing, this is not supposed to be how it goes down. There's a reason that Congress, that the House has the power of the purse, and to see it circumvented this way makes you like, what if there's someone that we would agree with less in power, and they see how much the president has expanded the power of the executive branch. And I mean, it's that slippery slope thing.
Yeah. When your side does it, you're fine. When the other side does it, you get angry.
Yeah.
I worry about that.
So, that's what worried now. I mean, GDP, they think could drop 1.7%. Rates are going to go up. Inflation's going to go up. Layoffs. This is what happens unless, I think the Nigerian brothers came out today and they said, there's still time. Could be some scars left over from this, but there's time. You got a couple weeks to just get some of these, and there's nothing worse than people saying 50 countries are saying they want to negotiate. Which 50 countries? Because if you ask me, there's only one. There's only one country that really matters here, and that's the big one. And China's not backing down. China doesn't give a shit. They're not intimidated. You got to somehow send some good negotiators over there and sit down and say, okay, because tariffs aren't across the board. Tariffs are mostly product by product. They vary, whether it's an automobile part or something agricultural related, they're all different. So, and that was the main problem these economists had, was that, they made fun of the formula. They were like, who the hell made up this formula to say we're going 50%, we're going 100%. And then, little countries like Vietnam, who's got what do they do? $400 billion a year in GDP, which, what's that? The GDP of Vermont. And we're talking about them.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
No. Yeah. I mean, now I will say that I read a story about how some of the companies being hurt the most by this were the companies that were trying to diversify out of China. And a lot of that business did end up in Vietnam and Cambodia and those places. So I guess you're seeing it more clothing tags and stuff over the past 10, 15 years made in Vietnam. But Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's not as I mean, it's not they're not an A player. Let's
let's get the big guys done first, and then worry about everyone else. I don't know. Well, it's going to be interesting because now you have them all fighting against each other. What's going to happen to Elon Musk? I wonder, because he did publicly come out against Trump a couple days ago against these tariffs.
Well, I watched a guy on Bloomberg the other day talk about how Elon Musk, for all his wits, doesn't realize that he's being set up to be the fall guy by the Trump administration if this doesn't go well. They're just gonna blame it, because really, when you think about what they're attempting to do, the Doge thing to me is wonderful, and I'm happy that they did that. But the timing of doing that and this at the same time is just such a shock to the system, the economy, that might be really what the combination of those two things that really causes causes a downturn. But also the thought was that once he starts to get to entitlements, that's when they're gonna back him off, throw him the high heat and be like, "Hey, Elon, you got to get out of here." And he's gonna.
It's so crazy. I was watching.
I
was watching Daredevil last night.
I like
it. It's a great show. It's on Disney. It's really good.
It's crazy that it's on Disney, by the way. That's the most violent, really, really violent, that show.
That show is insanely violent.
Yeah.
But there was a scene where what's the guy who's the mayor? What's his name?
That is Kingpin. Yeah.
Kingpin goes to a basically a fundraiser, and all the elites basically dress him down.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm not going to give away the show, but it is interesting to me because the elites were basically telling him, "Hey, dude, you either play ball with us or else we'll ransack you," and which is kind of what I sense from what you guys are saying right now. And I just want to tell you that I would like to. There's some people that like to get on the show. They are the creator of Fat Fellas. It's a coin, Fat M Words in Space. Okay, and I'd like to get them on the show to talk about their coin at some point because I think it's important. And crypto's crazy, right?
Marketing, the best marketing.
XRP is down. That's why it's a good time to get in, guys. So has it pissed you off to watch crypto fly up in price over the decade and you've still done nothing about it? It makes sense. Crypto is complicated and really boring. Well, here's the good news. You don't need to know a thing about crypto to make money like so many have. The copymycrypto.com membership site shows you the exact crypto that YouTuber James Ackman personally owns, which means you just copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest, as you simply copy along. So let me tell you about James. He runs the Copy with James YouTube channel, which has over 50,000 subscribers. It's way more now. In the summer of 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 cryptos. Had you put $100 in each, it went on to be worth 123,000. Of the 26 cryptos, his top pick of the year, the one he singled out, called Phantom, went up 692 times. That one call alone retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s or 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then pause what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Sam or Cash Daddies. That's copymycrypto. That's cop. Hold on. That's cop. Copy my cop. Cop. Pop. Copymycrypto.com.
What are you doing?
Shut up, Johnny. I'm trying to make a song. That's copymycrypto.com/Sam or copymycrypto/Cash Daddies. That's SAM. You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but our viewers will get full access for just $1. You've missed out on Bitcoin, but there's over 2 million other cryptos. Do you really think you've missed out on all of them? Guys, don't waste any more time. Go to the site and read it. Once again, that's copymycrypto.com/Sam or copymycrypto.com/Cash Daddies. It's ended money worries for so many. It just may do the same for you. And we thank them for sponsoring this show. Thank you for sponsoring this show.
Great news here. This says that Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to end tariffs on American goods. So our greatest ally has come to the rescue.
Our greatest ally that only exists because we've turned them into a welfare state is tariffing us.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, Eric Trump 2 weeks ago came out and said Ethereum is the best buy in the world. It's down 50% since the minute he came out and said it.
Did he really say that? Oh God.
Yeah. He came out 2 weeks ago and said Ethereum. He goes, I would buy it. It's a great time to buy. It's down 50% since then.
You know, there is a feature of this thing because it is absolutely the cryptos are moving in lockstep now with the markets. But there's this thing that you can kind of benefit from. It used to be you kind of had to look overseas if you wanted to see where the markets were heading when they were over the weekends and stuff. But now you can just watch, you can watch crypto and kind of the trend line continues from Bitcoin to, like the larger tech stocks, especially kind of if you want to trade on that, you could possibly do that, trade on that momentum. Because
dude, it is really interesting right now.
And it's followed perfectly.
It is really interesting right now. Something's going on Twitter where they're only showing certain people to everybody. Like, hey, you're live. We have way more people watching live than one of the people they have featured right now. B Swift. I don't know who that is, and this is nothing against them, but they have 53 people watching. 56.
Is it somebody you follow though? It might be somebody you follow.
But they don't even let you see any of the other lives right now. And this hot chick named Destiny Ramirez, they show 3 people plus 83, so that's 86 people are watching.
But whose account? Are you logged into your account?
Yeah.
Why would they show you your live? You know what I'm saying?
Because they used to show it all the time.
To you.
Yep. They've only showed 100. Like, dude, the one with the biggest one they're showing right now is 101. Alex Jones is always on Twitter. They're not showing him either, which is very.
Let me see if you're in the app or on the desktop. Because I'm curious.
I'm on the desktop.
Okay.
Very interesting to me.
I don't see any lives on there. Huh. Yeah, that is weird. Oh no, I see us actually, Sam. No, I see us. That's the only one I see.
Oh,
so
really?
Sam Tripoli is hosting Cash Daddy 214. Yeah.
Okay. We have way more people watching than 214.
No. Wait. No. Cash Daddies that's the number of this episode.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I just want to say that.
Yeah, I maybe they just stopped showing you because why would they show you your own stream, right?
Well, because you can see how you're doing against other people. Like who's watching what.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting. Johnny, got any stories?
Yeah, I mean, God, the news cycle is just being dominated by this tariffs thing. It's kind of all consuming. It seems like all the journalists that would be working on other stuff. I mean, like you got Larry Fink saying that we're probably in a recession already. Oh, what do you think about that, Howie?
I don't agree with that yet. Because a full recession, you got to have high unemployment. We're not there yet. I think we're headed there. So I don't think we're in a recession yet. I mean, you look at Polymarket, it says we got a 62% chance of going into one. That's one thing I don't agree with him. I don't think we're in a recession yet. I think it looks like we're headed there. But I don't think so yet. I'll tell you what, though, iPhones, they say there's no ifs, ands, or buts. iPhones are going to go up $350 to $400 a phone.
That's funny. That's the next one I had. Yeah, the high end iPhones, they were saying $350 minimum price hike. Or no, sorry, as much as $350.
That's Satoshi on the Tinfoil Hat podcast. Talk about BSV, Bitcoin conspiracy. All right, I'm in. Done.
What do you guys think about XRP? Interesting conversation I had with a kid. Love this kid, man.
Why are you talking to children, Howie?
Well,
I don't trust him.
He's 27, but he played football at California, my boy Garen. But so I asked him, all his buddies, they all work in, startups and stuff. And I said, what do you think about crypto, this and that? And he's very positive on Bitcoin, but he owns a lot of XRP. And he bought it in college at 7 cents. Bought it like 7-8 years ago at 7 cents. And no, he gave me a rundown of it. And I'll tell you what, XRP does sound impressive. The only problem is there's a large float. A very large float out there. So it's tough but it's, I said to him Friday, I said, yeah, if it goes under $2, I might buy it. I think it's what, $1.75, $1.80 now?
Yeah, it's under $2.
And Johnny, I said it before. I'm telling you, I think we might see Bitcoin at 69.
Yeah, what? You still waiting for 60?
68, 69, I think I'd go in. Sold it at 89 last year in the 2025 portfolio. Sold it at 89.
It's up 5% today with the big tech stocks. Again, it's right there with Nvidia and those larger tech stocks. I hope it doesn't get locked in there, because that means we're never going to see those big gains again.
It is locked in there. It does everything. You know, it was funny as shit. One of the Winklevoss twins today, it was at 82 or 83 this morning. He said, you know what? Bitcoin is finally showing up as a hedge. And he tweeted this, and like 3 minutes later, it dropped right to 74. And everybody was commenting on his tweet. This aged well.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
those guys, boy, they really were just at the right place at the right time. Also, you know, it's just, I don't know. I think they're almost like a psyop, the Winklevoss twins. It's did you see that Corvette? I mean, Chevy introduced a EV Corvette prototype that is a concept car that looks ridiculous. Let me see if I can share this.
It's 100% electric.
I would assume so.
Who wants an electric Corvette?
The way, yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's gay, but
you see it? Can you bring that up?
I did.
Ooh, that does look cool.
You think that looks? See, to me, that's hideous to me.
Johnny, how can you like the Cybertruck and then look at this? Think that?
Yeah, that looks like a
front, dude. I want
to go fight crime, Batman style, on that thing.
Yeah,
those
that
air
does look cool.
That does look cool.
I do. Yeah, you're right. I do like the Cybertruck, but yeah, you're so right, dude. Who wants it? I mean, I would rather go out and buy like a Stingray, you know, like a late 60s, early 70s era.
Yeah.
Maybe get a little T-top and then
69 Corvette. Yeah, the old school Stingrays are the best.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
5 speed.
Yeah, so GM's got a prototype. What were the other stories I pulled up here?
Johnny, while you're doing that, let me tell everybody, your boy, sweet Sammy T is going to be in Tacoma this weekend. Oh, tomorrow night is the watch Comedy Chaos while you can. Who knows how much longer it will be going. So Hollywood tomorrow night, Tacoma, Washington, Thursday with the Prophet Eddie Bravo. And then Tacoma Friday, Saturday by myself. Burbank Nightcap, I'm bringing back the Revival, and then Bellflower, and there's more dates coming. Loading up, bro. SamTripoli.com.
Howie, I had a question for you. Now, there are a lot of people writing about auto prices and how sales are kind of up and down. Would you, if you were maybe 6 months, a year out from when you would normally be expected to buy a car in the cycle, maybe have a lease or something like that, would you go ahead and get it in now? Would you go ahead and buy now?
I would try
maybe
to
trade in early?
Absolutely. Because, you know, ask anybody, why wouldn't all the prices on any car, they're all going up 50%. They're all going to go up 50%. They already said that.
Really? Yeah,
they said a BMW X3, if you buy $50,000, will be $75,000 in 3, 4, 5 months.
Is that going to be true also for the American auto makers?
Yes, because how many of those parts are made in China?
Exactly. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, everywhere. Did you see this story? So Vietnam, like we talked about, is the one they're touting as like the one that's playing along. But then you had Navarro saying that their 0% tariff offer, that's not good enough. They have to also balance the trade deficit with the United States, which is that to me doesn't make any. How can you? Some countries just don't. You know, like we're not gonna. I don't think we're ever gonna be balanced in trade with these because I mean, our economy is set up to consume. It's just the way it is.
No, free trade doesn't work. Fair trade works. Big difference. Free trade, fair trade. I mean, you're going to expect a country like Vietnam, where their GDP is $400 billion. You're going to say that they have to buy whatever we buy from them. They have to buy half from us. It's just not. It's not. You know, and that's what Kieran was talking to Navarro today. Navarro doesn't make any sense. He's just spewing, and you know, like I said, that's why I don't blame Elon for getting on his ass. I don't think the guy. I think he's out of his mind.
Here's what he said. He said, let's take Vietnam. When they come to us and say, we'll go zero tariffs, that means nothing to us because it's the non-tariff cheating that matters. The examples of the cheating he cited included Chinese products being routed through Vietnam, intellectual property theft, and a VAT, their value-added tax. So, I mean, he called it a small start. I mean, if they're really going for the jugular with, I mean, poor Vietnam.
I mean, well, you know, yeah.
I guess that's an example. Really, it's about the message that sends to China, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. And not just China, Japan, Europe, everybody else. Look, you think Europe's going to bow down? No, they're not. Look, what's going to happen is China's going to say, okay, all right, you know what, Donnie, go fuck yourself. We won't buy any more soybeans from your farmers. We'll find somewhere else to buy them. And here's the scary thing. If these countries start trading with each other, Johnny, and it works out, and they don't come back to us, we're sitting here in America with no factories with our dick in our hands. That's a scary thing.
Well, that's the nightmare. That's the nightmare scenario right there.
It is. And I'll say it again, I'm on board with the premise that we have to do something. Because China has been sticking it to us for years. We have to do something. They need to be paying more, China does. We can't be just importing everything without a price. But that's why you go to the table, sit down, come up with a few things that are reasonable so that we don't go into a recession and Americans don't start losing jobs, because we don't want that. I don't want to see unemployment going up. I don't want to see truck drivers without jobs. I want to see guys busy, working, you know. And it's another thing that pisses me off too. You know, they say, you know, only 8%. Somebody came up with a stat the other day, and it said 8% of the wealthiest people are the only people that are in the stock market. You forgot pension plans, 401ks. Everybody, small business owners, SEPs, IRAs. Like, no, buddy. These IRAs were made for the middle class, lower middle class.
Firefighters, police officers, all their retirements are in the stock market.
It's in the market. Yeah. It's like the way they talk to Americans just drives me nuts. Like, they really think we're retarded. Pfizer's at $22 a share. I'm glad I sold that thing at like 31.
Anybody with a 401k? I mean, it's just like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say today, you know, we got a shit day in the market. Last week, Friday, I backed up the truck. I bought a bunch of Amazon, Nvidia, Dell. They're up today. All three of them are up. So the good thing is I think we may have seen some bottoming out on some of these stocks. And this market is due for a good one-day dead cat where, you know what, we can bank.
I did see one story about how gas prices could be coming down because crude oil is plummeting. Yeah. What's the dynamic there, Howie? Why is that happening?
It's kind of, you know, commodities right now. When the market we have commodities dropping in a lot of different areas. What did I see today? Cotton's way down. I think copper might have dropped.
This is Andy Lipow, president of Lipow Oil Associates. He says the silver lining from the recent market turmoil is that the significant decline in oil prices will lead to a decline in gas prices for the consumer. Refineries have switched over to their summer blend fuel, which is more expensive to produce than the winter grade fuel and typically causes price to jump at the pump over the summer. However, he said that consumers are not going to see the full impact of that change at the gas station because of the significant drop in crude prices. They're down $10 a barrel over the last 3 days.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the whole recession fear thing. Yeah, it's, I mean, crude oil's down quite a bit. That's on the whole global tariff recession thing. I mean, I think OPEC has a ton of supply right now.
Could see the cheapest summer for gasoline prices since Trump took office or since COVID, they're saying.
Yeah, but it's not a good thing, though. I mean, don't look at it as like, yeah, gas prices. No, that means there's a better chance we're going into a recession. So
yeah, I mean, it will be good for you at the pump in the short term, but yeah, long term, not a great thing possibly.
No, it's not. It's not. So I don't
know.
Can I
ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was how he didn't seem enthusiastic? He's like, yeah.
What's with the gold drop?
You listen, man. That's that's what's got me worried, because when you got the stock market, which equities, stocks, you got stocks going down, oil should be going up. I mean, I'm sorry, gold should be going up. And that's what now we're getting a drop in both. I mean, gold down 2% today. Gold.
How do they determine that?
There's just no demand. There's no one's buying it. There's more sellers. So gold hit 288 last week. It's down to 274 now. Commodities in general, Sam, like crude oil, cotton, these things.
And
are
that was off
dropping.
an all-time high, right? Howie, last week didn't it?
Yeah,
Hit like...
yeah. Gold hit an all-time high, 288. It's down to 274. You might see it go down to 260s, but you know, you would think it'd be going up with stocks going down. I mean, going up with stocks going down. It's not right now.
Where is your hedge then? If you can't turn to gold, like what can you do? Just
Treasuries, bonds.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, that's what they said. That's what they claim he wants us to do. So,
well, yeah, I mean, you know, unless China owns more treasuries than anybody in the world, unless they sell all the treasuries and buys gold, and then the yuan becomes
can you
more
imagine
valuable.
if they really wanted to hurt us right now? Like really?
If they wanted to hurt us, China, if they start selling treasuries and they start buying gold, and the yuan comes down and the yuan comes down and oh my God, that could be a problem. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
I don't think they want to though, because it's mutually assured destruction. It would just tank the global economy.
Yeah, big time for years, because China owns a shitload of treasuries.
Yeah, that's the one thing where globalism has worked out. It's because the economies of these countries are too interconnected now. They can't really destroy each other like they used to be able to, which is why what's happening with our country is kind of curious.
Look, it's been proven over and over. Protectionism doesn't work. You just got to find some way to just come to the table, make a deal. This is what we're doing going forward. We're going to work with you here on this. You got to work with us here on this. We're paying too much money over the past 10 years. You're sticking it to us. Let's come down on this.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't fuck the American farmer. You know, you can't. These guys got to have shit to sell. I love people who are like, yeah, they can start selling to Americans now. It's like, dude, you know? And I think somebody, who was it, Peter Schiff today, he said, yeah, we're going to start building factories in America to hire thousands and thousands of people. Problem is, we don't have enough people in America that are going to take factory jobs. So then what do? Let's bring in some more illegal immigrants.
I disagree with that.
There's no disagreeing. It's a fact.
I think people will work in factories.
For how much?
He's talking about just the numbers.
Yeah, you got to have, hundreds of thousands of people in at what wage? You know, because these companies got to make a profit. You have to have margins. That's the biggest thing, Sam. If we have earnings in the next few weeks come out and these margins start to drop because they don't know how much to make or build, and the supply chains get fucked up, then you got unemployment, and then they got to start laying off people. Then we're screwed.
Yeah, I just hope that they can, because it's going to be important in kind of unwinding this for the president to save face.
You said it, Johnny. That's and the fact that we have to worry about that is just, come on. You know,
But
do what's best for the American worker. That's all. And I'm all on board with the premise. We got to do something with China.
Yes.
You can't bring the world to a halt and have thousands and thousands of people lose jobs.
Well, and it's also, I mean, he kind of picked the most extreme way to, by degree here, this is also kind of the mistake. He could have done this to a lesser extent, and maybe this is something that actually is sustainable. You know what I mean? But you have did you see he came out with his big chart on the math of this whole thing, and like how the tariffs, it was like the trade deficit plus the tariffs, then this weird formula equals their total what was it? Basically the unfair quotient
The
is
chart,
what it was. How unfair they are to America is what Trump said. And then he listed how much that we're going to tariff them, and cited all these economists. And these economists the next day are like, what? They didn't know. They didn't tell them they were going to be in this big presentation by Trump. And a lot of them were hella surprised, let's say.
Yeah, they interviewed that guy from Purdue, and he was like, "My name was in this thing." He goes, "That's not what I meant. That's not." They took it all out of context, and nobody understood those formulas. That was the problem. Nobody understood the formulas. Made no sense.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. To me, I'm not smart enough to understand the global economy. So to me, I just fall back on what Rand Paul was saying about how this is not what this country's supposed to be. It's not how it's supposed to be run. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
hopefully it plays out, but
hey, Howie, can I ask you more from a
personal question?
Yeah. Like more from a human.
You love black men.
Well, I mean, we all do. More from a human interest perspective, though, Howie. What is it like? You have friends in Wall Street. You worked in finance for years. What is their life like right now? Like this past week, what is it like to be one of these guys, one of these traders who's like trying to manage all the accounts that they have and everything, and keep people from like getting phone calls every 5 minutes from people like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal because when people see this quickly of a drop, it's the retirement. Yeah, it's horrible. It's I talked to my buddy like 5 times in the last 2 days, one of them, and he's like, oh my God. He was talking about today, and he was like, thank God it's not Black Monday, but he said, holy shit, I'm gonna have to deal with 500 calls today. People are calling, people want to know what's going on, and there's not a lot you can tell them because it's the first time in history. No one really knows. What is this guy doing? What's going on?
What is this guy doing?
We need a little philosophy here. We got to have something we can go on. And he's hand holding. He's just telling them, look, hold on. What goes down will come back up. We're in this thing for the long term. And I will say this, anyone listening, if you don't have an IRA set up, now is a beautiful time to set one up and just, take whatever you have, put it in, index funds. I don't care. But in 2 years from now, you're going to wish you did.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So should we go over to the Patreon?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, it's just, I got more stories about all this. I mean, more stuff about the Ackman and Elon Musk said, which is the thing about with Elon Musk pushing back now is really, that's a tipping point for him, I guess you could say. And it wouldn't surprise me now because the president is very into people who kind of toe the line. It could be the beginning of the end for him. I mean, they kind of teased that a little last week, those stories that came out about how he was going to be leaving soon. And then they did damage control saying, hey, we had always planned to phase him out. This wasn't like a permanent role for the busiest guy on the planet, obviously. But
and his brother just came out and ripped the president.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I just saw that headline. So I don't know. I mean, then you have, this is 5 minutes ago, Trump threatens additional China tariffs, opens negotiation on others. So, I mean, we're getting into like brinksmanship. It's like the nuclear arms race all over again, but with tariffs.
Yeah, and nobody wins. Nobody wins. No one's going to win this. No one's going to win. The only people who are going to lose is the lower middle class. That's who's going to take it. What
about mortgage rates, Howie? Were they ever going to go back down?
They were dropping like crazy. We had a huge month where the 10-year Treasury came down, mortgage rates came way down. Then today, oh my God, today they were up huge. So let's hope they drop back down.
But it's possible we could be in for an extended period, right, with them up there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no telling. I mean, I don't think anybody on Wall Street knows what's going to happen, but they had a huge jump today, big jump.
All right, I got the guy with the leaf blowers outside my window right now, so I'm going to have to mute myself, fellas.
All right, guys, we're going over to the elusive, the exclusive, where the bangers bang. Cash Daddies Patreon. Get in on this bonus content. Howie's on there every day, 3-4 videos a day, dropping hammer of the gods like some unsuspecting fools. So
Great community over there too, right, Howie? The people.
Oh, they're awesome, man. Good guys. Yup.
All right, we'll see you over there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys in Tacoma. See you guys at the Comedy Store, and we will see you soon. Go check out Howie's YouTube channel. Take care, everybody. Bye.